When it comes to action role-playing games, only a few things matter more than the story, characters, or lore. One of those things is the loot. In this video, I will show you some best loot-based aRPG games. So without any further ado, let's start this video. The first game of this video is the Ascent. In comparison to other loot-based games, the Ascent offers something unique. It's set in a seductive and visceral cyberpunk universe in which you play as an indebted laborer. You must then claw, or, more accurately, shoot, your way into society's upper echelons. You will be able to discharge your debt and be debt-free in this manner. You'll be showered with a wealth of weaponry, armor pieces, and cybernetic enhancements along the road, making twin-stick shooter gunplay more easier and more savage. Next up we have Vikings Wolves of Midgard. Ever wanted a Norse mythology-themed aRPG? Then Vikings, Wolves of Midgard should sate that craving for Odin's dysfunctional family. Like most games set with that kind of backdrop, it's all about surviving, stopping, or avoiding the Ragnarok or Fimbulwinter apocalypse. It does seem that Vikings Wolves of Midgard was made with co-op or multiplayer in mind. The game can get difficult and unforgiving. It does make up for its rough edges with the good voice acting and action-packed frost giant slaying. Next up we have Minecraft Dungeons. One of the most recent contributions to the loot-based aRPG genre is Minecraft Dungeons. It's also produced a strong first impression owing to the parent franchise's branding. It's a really familiar experience in terms of gameplay. Minecraft Dungeons, on the other hand, bills itself as a family-friendly aRPG. That alone sets it apart from other games in the genre, which are often bleak and dark and aimed at a hardcore audience. Next up we have Lost Ark. Many Diablo fans were ready to abandon ship when Lost Ark was originally shown to the West by its South Korean developers. From a technical and presentation sense, it was a genuinely fantastic isometric aRPG. It has the most visceral and enjoyable combat of any isometric aRPG to date. The issue is obtaining outside of South Korea access to the game. Next up we have Borderlands Series. Borderlands allows players to follow the tale or merely the characters. Some of them are quite outrageous and compelling. Borderlands games, on the other hand, are primarily played for one reason: firearms. There are the occasional shields that also double as armor, but fans mostly chase the loot for the guns. Of course, Borderlands adds a twist to the already aging hack and slash aRPG genre by making the gameplay more shooty and skill-based. Next up we have Remnant from the Ashes. Remnant from the Ashes narrates the story of a kingdom plunging into chaos due to an alternate dimension evil and has some of the most distinctive creature designs. The survivors of mankind band together to defeat the terrible horde and reclaim their home. It's a pretty common setup, but Remnant executes itself with such panache and style. Next up we have Warframe. If gamers are divided between the run-and-gun gameplay of Borderlands and the need for swords and spectacular melee action, go no further than Warframe. Warframe is a futuristic space ninja looter shooter, if that makes sense, but it gives players plenty of options for how they want to play. The choices for customization or builds are limitless. The best part is that all of this can be done in a 3D third-person over-the-shoulder view for the best perspective of the action. Next up we have Path of Exile. GGG, the Path of Exile creators are a true indie gaming studio that set out to accomplish a gigantic task: to build a game that is essentially the spiritual successor to Diablo 2. How did they do? Let's simply say Diablo 3 pales in comparison to Path of Exile in terms of complexity and fidelity to the Diablo 2 paradigm. Path of Exile includes its unique gem slotting system, which is similar to Diablo 2 runes, except instead of providing benefits, these gems provide abilities. The passive skill tree in Path of Exile, on the other hand, is the true star. Next up we have Chronicon. In 2020, Chronicon debuted with the goal of revisiting the memories of ancient heroes. The game's dungeon crawling mechanisms are produced at random from a tile set. Despite its vibrant colors, the game has a lot more in common with classic aRPGs than fans may expect. For instance, it has more than 400 unique items that each have their own powers. There are also more than 900 abilities, skills, and perks to mess around with, too. The last game of this video is The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing series. It turns out that Van Helsing is ready for a loot-based aRPG title. It's currently on its third game, with each one bringing new features and improvements over the previous one. The original game is renowned for giving the aRPG or loot-based gaming genre a conceptual twist. It's not every day that you come upon a haunting Victorian-era video game with a cool protagonist. The main drawback to these games is that owing to the title, cosmetic modification is limited. You can only play with Van Helsing. So that's the list of 10 best loot-based aRPG video games. If you enjoy this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel Games Puff and press the bell icon for more gaming videos.